Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Confidence Becomes You. I'm so happy to be back for today for a new episode. It's been about 2 weeks since I created a new episode. I'm sorry, life just happens, and my daughter started school back, and it's just been a little bit all over the place, which is what brings today's episode. Is all about refreshing your confidence, just bringing it back to life. And so if this is your first time listening to Confidence Becomes You, my name is Cleopatra. I am a confidence and visibility coach, and it's my goal to help you become an expression of your most confident self and be able to take up space as her, be seen, and make your mark. Now, before we get started in today's episode, I do have a announcement to make. So this week I will be starting my group coaching program. It's called Impact and Attract. This program is specifically for the ladies who want to learn how to start using their voice, who want to start using a voice to become a thought leader, to become more confident and showing up online, creating content to make your voice heard, and to become an influence and a queen of impact. And it's also to become an attraction to opportunities, become an attraction to the things that you desire in your life through your thought leadership, through you showing up visibly. So, the details will be in the show notes. It will be in the description box for you to go ahead and sign up. This is going to be live coaching calls. It is going to be in a course format. That way you will have replays available. So all details will be listed in the show notes. This week I am going to get started, and hopefully I see you in there. Also, just to let you guys know that this is a beta program. So this will be the very beginning of the program, which means that you guys get a promotional price, a discounted rate for now, because once it's completed, then the prices are going to go up. So make sure you sign up right now. You can just go to cleopatrawilliams.com. Alrighty. So let's get into today's episode, which I'm so excited about, guys, because it is so necessary to talk about how to bring your confidence back to life as women, as moms, as just people in general. Like, we go through things in life, things happen, it throws us like off course, and sometimes we just need that, you know, that juice, that revitalization to happen for us to get us back on track, because we're not always going to feel like our best self. We're not always going to feel so confident and just magnetic. We're not always going to feel like that is going to be able to come back just like everything come back. So let's go ahead and get into tip number 1. So this is one of my favorite things to do almost every week, maybe every 2 weeks, or whenever I feel myself like my confidence need a refresher. What I do is I grab my journal and I write down on 2 separate pages. One, I write down what feels good right now. And then on a second page, I write down what doesn't feel good right now. So the reason why I do this is because when there's so many things happening and we're feeling a little like off course, we're not feeling like our best self, sometimes it's hard to pinpoint why. It's sometimes hard to pinpoint what is happening to cause this shift, what is happening to make me not feel good in my skin, what's happening to make me feel insecure, like why do I feel this way. So one page, what feels good, other page, what doesn't feel good. So for me, this is what I consider to be a self-awareness practice. Self-awareness is going to be key on your inner work journey. Self-awareness is going to be key on your confidence journey. It is so essential to be aware of what is going on with you. Okay, so when you write down what feels good, you can say, okay, these feel good to me right now. What I did yesterday feels good to me. Now, what doesn't feel good, it can be anything. anything, anything that you feel is throwing you off. Maybe what doesn't feel good is that, you know, just yesterday you had the opportunity to speak up and you didn't, right? And it is really bothering you. Or last week, you told yourself that you were going to be getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning, but you chose not to. You decided to sleep in a little bit more, or you feel more bloated, you feel tired. So, those could be little things that just it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to your body. It's not making you feel confident. It's actually making you feel insecure. So that is what I consider a self-awareness practice is so good because you're going to be able to pinpoint those things. And what happens is that when you get the chance to pinpoint these things, you get clarity. And a key to confidence is clarity. Remember what I said in some previous episodes of where there's confusion, there is no confidence. If you're confused about what's causing you to be like not to feel confident, then you're not going to feel confident, right? So, where there's confusion, there is no confidence, but where there is clarity, confidence always arises. And because of this, you are now able to create a plan of solution. So if you know that maybe you not speaking up yesterday or the day before when you had those opportunities to speak up and say, no, I don't want that. I want this. No, you can't say that to me, or whatever the case it is. Now you can create a strategic plan of action to say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. For example, let me give an example for me. One of my top priorities, and this comes a lot to do when you start looking at the things that's throwing you off, is really because you are outside of your top priorities. Remember what I talked about connecting to your top 3 priorities and figuring out who do you need to become, who do you need to embody to make your top priorities a success. So for me, one of my top priorities is ease and flow. So ease and flow for me looks very different from other people. So for me, that's having flow in my body, being flexible. That's me having my money, my finances in order because that creates a sense of ease in my life. That's like not overworking, having a boundary with my time. That's things like delegating. So I can have like my time back to just pour into me. So because that is my top priority, if I sense that I'm not honoring that top priority, for example, maybe I realize that what doesn't feel good is I feel like I have to do everything by myself. That does not feel good to me. That makes me feel like I'm in survival mode. That makes me feel like just a stressed woman. And I don't want to feel like that whatsoever. If my finances aren't where I want it to be, that makes me feel like I can't spend freely or do the things freely like I want to do. So those are things that don't feel good. So what can be a plan of action, right? So a plan of action could be, you know what? I need to focus on delegating. I need to prioritize delegating because I am out of the box, out of the line of my top priority. I'm not honoring that commitment to myself. So, honoring your commitments is what's going to bring your confidence back to life. So, becoming aware of what's wrong, what's causing you not to feel good, creates clarity and it allows you to create a plan of solution so that you can execute and get back to feeling like the best version of you and honoring your top priorities, honoring your commitments, and again, go back to embodying the person that you want to be. Another thing that comes out of this self awareness practice is self-compassion practice. Self-compassion is really about like talking to yourself as you are your best friend. So maybe you haven't been honoring your commitments, right? Maybe the reason why you're not feeling the way you've been feeling again is because you're not sticking to embodying the person that you want to be, to hold those top priorities and make them successful. But we're human, life happens. So what needs to be done is learning how to practice self-compassion, and this has to do with things like releasing unhelpful blocks. So unhelpful blocks are so many things: is unforgiveness towards yourself, right? Feeling guilty, feeling shame, feeling resentment towards yourself. These are all unhelpful blocks. When you feel those things, one of the best things to do is, one, shake it off as much as you can. This is something that I'm practicing on a daily basis with somatic movement to regulate my nervous system, because those things happen. One powerful thing, like I said, is shaking it off. Okay. Another thing is, this is something that I started practicing, and I got it from one of my favorite books. I started reading this book, I believe, at the very beginning of this year, and it has become one of my favorite books. And this book is called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. I hope I'm saying her name right and not butchering it. It is a phenomenal book. I would highly recommend all of you guys to read it. But this is what I learned from it: is this: cast your burdens. Of course, we heard this we heard this at church or read this in the Bible, but when I've heard it from her in her book, it was so life changing. So, what I like to do when I feel shame or guilt or unforgiveness or any unwanted feelings that maybe I thought was gone and it came back, any type of comparison, any type of anything that happens, what I like to say is, I cast this burden on the Christ within me and I am set free. I cast this burden of jealousy on whatever it is. I cast this burden on resentment towards myself for doing XYZ on the Christ within me, and I set myself free. I cast the burden on the Christ within me and I set myself free. So when I do this, I instantly, I mean, I say it repeatedly as much as I need to, but honestly, I instantly feel so much peace, because you're casting your burdens on God. Like, we're not meant to hold in all of that anxiety, all of that unforgiveness. We're not meant to hold that in to us. One, because it creates diseases, it creates so much unwanted things within our bodies. And so just being able to, release it from you and put it on to God, put it on the Christ within you and set yourself free is life changing. So that's the statement that I say. Say it if you feel connected to that statement. I highly recommend it. And I promise you, like, I feel so much peace when I say it, even if I have to say it 1,000 times until I really feel free of it. I will say it. I cast this burden on the Christ within me, and I set myself free. And number 2, on how to refresh your confidence and just bring it back to life, is review your most confident self list. Review your top priorities list. Review your vision board. So these are the things, the top 2 things, because I used to say, have a separate confidence self list, but now I like to mix it with the top priorities list just to make it a little bit more easy to have more clarity around the person that you're becoming. So, reviewing your top priorities list, I already went over this a little bit in the first part. You are going to figure out who is the person that you need to become to make these top priorities a success. And when I talk about the top 3 priorities, honestly, guys, like this is so, so important. Release your attachment to the time. Sometimes we say, like, this is who I'm going to be this year. And you can always add on, you can always change. But what I realize is that sometimes those 3 priorities may take longer than a year. It may take 2 years. It may take 3 years. It may be a priority for you for the rest of your life. And that is okay. But honoring that person that you need to become to continuously make these top 3 priorities success is what's going to help you feel just so connected with yourself, so confident about yourself. Another thing is why this is important is because when we are not constantly reviewing our notes. So I like to do this on a daily basis. But honestly, I don't do it every single day. Sometimes I fall short and maybe I'll do it like 4 times a week. But every day to me is a goal. But the reason why this is so important to review it is because out of sight, out of mind. When you are not consistently reviewing your most confident self list, your top 3 priorities list, one, that means it's not really a priority to you. That's number one. Number two, it is so easy to forget who is the person that you want to be. It is so easy to backtrack because you start acting like your old self again without having this note in front of you of, no, this is who I'm becoming. This is the person that I want to be. When you don't have this in front of you every single day or every other day, it is so easy to just backtrack. And we don't want that. We're not about going backwards. We are about moving forward and forward only. And like I said, one of the biggest things that causes us to not feel connected, not feel like our most confident selves is when we are not actually embodying. Because when we're not embodying, we're not becoming. There's always going to be a distance. Another thing is reviewing your vision board. So another thing is reviewing your vision board. So I have my vision board on my phone. I have it on my computer screen. These are the top 2 places that I have it. And the reason why is because, again, out of sight, out of mind. What I like to do is look at my vision board and visualize. So it's one thing to write something down in journal, right? It's one thing that's very, very important. But visualization, when you put an image to something, it's like you can see it, right? You can see yourself. You can see yourself attaining this goal. You can put yourself, literally paste your face on someone else's face. You can see yourself having the things that you want to have. You can see the apartment, you can see the car, you can see all of these things. This getting you back into visualizing, it gets you back excited. It gets you back excited about your goals. It gets you excited about your life. And you're like, you know what? No, like maybe I don't feel my best right now. I feel a little bit in a rut, but this is the life. This is what I'm going to receive. This is available to me. This is already mine. You literally get back into that energetic mode that you want to be in, which is excitement. When you're excited, when you are, just happy to get these things, you start getting more confident and about like how you are going to attract it. You start getting more clarity, like, oh, let me write this down. You get more creative. You're like, I want to do this. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to do this. And so when you start visualizing, it just puts those creative juices back into you. And one thing that I learned, I believe this is for most people because our creativity is connected to our purpose. So when we are not creating, when we are not pouring into the desires of our heart, when we are not putting life into our purpose and our passions, when we are not doing that, we slowly start to feel sad. We slowly start to feel unfulfillment or depression. These things happen when you are not pouring into the things that you love most. So for me, when I feel myself getting down or sad, it's because one, either I'm not embodying my most confident self, and also I'm not creating, I'm not pouring into something that makes me feel fulfilled. Those are like the two things. Not honoring my top three priorities with my most confident self embodying that, and not creating, not pouring into my purpose. So, if this feels like you and you connect with that as well, get back into visualizing and start earning your commitments. This is going to light up your confidence. This is going to make you realize, this is going to make you go back to, dang, like I have this in me. I can do this. This is what's going to pour into your confidence. So get back into that. So, tip number 3, move your mindset back into a state of expectation. Expectation is literally one of the best gifts that you can give yourself as a woman who is working to build her confidence. This is by far the state of mind of a confident woman. It is a representation of faith, it is a representation of hope. It is what's going to take you to the next level, is what's going to help you quantum leap so fast because you live in a state of expectation. One of the episodes that I created a few weeks ago is She Laughs Without Fear of the Future. This verse is a verse out of the Bible, and I love this verse because to me, it is a representation of a woman who lives in a state of expectation and she knows all is well. This is a representation of a woman of confidence. The verse is, she is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. She is confident. She is not worried. She is not anxious about the future. She is living in a state of expectation. One, because she knows she is important. She has dignity. She takes care of herself. She knows who she is and with God, and she knows all the things that God has given her. She has everything she needs to become the person she wants to be, do the things that she wants to do, and have the things that she wants to have. And 2, she knows how resilient she is. She knows all the things that she's overcame. She knows what she's capable of. She knows her capabilities. She knows her abilities. And so to me, she lives in a state of expectation. Another thing that's so important about living in a state of expectation. So one thing I noticed about me is I realized that my confidence tends to shift when I stop trusting God, not 100%, but I start believing more in my own strength. And this happened when I feel like things aren't going my way in the time frame that I wanted to happen. So I start depending more on me. So when I do that, what happens is that my confidence tends to shift. And the reason why it tends to shift is because when you rely on your own strengths, when I've relied on my own strengths, it will wear you out and it will lead you to almost feeling desperate. And remember, confident woman is desperate for nothing. When you lean on your own strengths, you start to become a little desperate because you start to feel like it's up to you. You start putting yourself in panic mode. You start putting yourself in anxiety mode, and you put yourself in survival mode. And so what you have to do to kind of get yourself back on track of getting out of that mode of not depending on you and relying on your own strengths, because you don't want to be desperate. You don't want to step into desperation. If you are feeling desperate, again, you put it back on God. Yes, it's your responsibility to do the things that you need to do to kind of create the life that you want to create for yourself. But there are some things that we cannot see that is not our job. So we got to release that. And another thing that I like to say that helps me get my confidence back is reminding myself, especially if I have a vision for my life and I feel like God's giving me that vision, is reminding myself that God doesn't lie. Why that is important is because, again, it's so easy, especially when you've gotten a vision for your life and you are like, oh my gosh, like this is for me, but God, why is this not happening? It is so easy to, again, go back to relying on your own strength and start not trusting God. I don't know about you, but I'd be like, okay, now you playing with my emotions, you playing with me, but I don't want to feel that way. And I'm sure if you kind of share the same values, maybe you don't want to feel that way either. So what I do is, again, remind myself that God does not lie. If he gave me this vision, then it is destined to come into fruition. If he gave me this vision, then it's already mine. Everything that makes you feel the complete opposite is a lie. If you are feeling like you have to rely on your own strengths and that nothing's working out for you, just say this is a distraction. This is a lie. That is not the truth. So anything opposite of what you want to feel is a lie. Our mind, again, is a battlefield. It plays tricks on us. The things that we see, your reality, all of this is a lie. If you do not want it to be true, don't entertain it. It is just not true to you. It's not available to you. You don't see it, it's done. But that takes practice. That takes actually every single day. Every single day, rejecting the things that you don't want inside of you and releasing those burdens that you have on you. Another thing with moving back into a state of expectation is reminding yourself that you have everything within you, again, to become better, do better, have better. Everything that you were given from the day that you were born, you were given hands that can create. You have a body, a strong body. Your body is your temple. You have a brain that can learn almost anything. Anything that you put into your brain, you can learn. You can change your subconscious mind. You can create with your vision. You can write a book using your voice. You can change your life with your voice. So, everything that was given to you, you have everything, everything that you can possibly think of. There is nothing outside of you that you need to have to change your life. Everything. If anything, if you have your voice, that is probably the number one thing that you need that can change your life. There is so much power in your voice. There is so much power in being able to speak and to communicate. Again, if this is something that you want to, bring to life, I highly recommend that you join Impact and Attract, because your voice can change your life. Your voice can change your life. So reminding yourself, get back into trusting yourself, telling yourself that you have everything within you, allow you to trust yourself again. To trust yourself, not saying only rely on your own strengths, but trusting yourself. Where there's trust, there is confidence. When you trust yourself, you have more confidence in yourself to see things through. So one of the things that I like to do with getting myself back into a state of expectation is something called affirmations. We all heard of affirmations, but affirmations is also another form of affirmations. So, for example, like this: why is everything working out for me? Why am I that girl? So, what happens to your mind when you begin asking these questions to yourself is that you answer yourself. Why is everything working out for me? Because everything's supposed to work out for me. So you see what happens is you answer those questions and it's like you're empowering yourself. Why is everything supposed to happen for me? Because it's supposed to happen for me. Why not? Why am I supposed to feel good? Because I'm amazing. I'm supposed to feel good, right? Why am I that girl? Because I take care of myself, right? It's kind of like you are empowering yourself, you're reminding yourself of who you are, you're building that trust back within yourself and feeling more confident about yourself, and watch how things start to change within you. And then another way, the last point of getting your mindset back into a state of expectation is thinking that it is already done and be prepared to receive it. So, when you are thinking that it's already done, you are telling yourself that you know it's going to happen, but you have to prepare. So, what I like to do is ask myself, okay, if I know that this is going to happen, if I knew that this was going to happen, what would I do right now? Would I do this or would I do this? What this does for you is it helps you make a decision. It helps you move with expectation, and it helps you I lost what I was going to say, but it helps you get into preparation. So when you ask yourself if this was going to happen, if you knew that next year you will have a best-selling book next year, right now, would you continue to hold yourself back from writing that book? Or would you be like, oh, let me get this book together because next year I'm about to be a best-selling author? So even though you don't technically know, right, it allows you to make better decisions. It allows you to get out of their self-doubt, get out of their limiting beliefs, and actually take some actionable steps. Move with expectation, have some confidence, be more courageous, and take more risk. If you knew that you were going to have $1 million company next year, would you start now or would you wait till the new year to start? No, you will start now. So these are things that these are things that you need to do to start getting yourself back into a state of expectation. So now let's get into step number 4. Step number 4 would be declutter your space and your mind. So, like I said, where there is no confidence and confusion, there is no confidence and confusion whatsoever. So, when you have clutter in your mind, clutter again, going back to that self-awareness practice, what doesn't feel good, what feels good, what's bothering me, what do I need to do, what do I need to release? This is why those to-do lists is so important. Why people love them is because when they're able to write everything down, it allows the clutter to get out. It takes away the confusion. It provides clarity. And clarity just gives you such a peace of mind. Where there's clutter, you're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're not going to feel confident to make a decision that is the right decision. You're just not going to know. And so we don't want that to happen. We want confidence. So declutter your mind is one of the best ways that you can start to refresh your confidence. Another thing besides just decluttering your mind is decluttering your environment, because one thing is that physical objects, they hold energy, right? When there's so many things, Those energetic objects are literally sucking our energy away because we see it. We see it, we feel it, we feel cluttered, and it's not allowing us to flow. It's not allowing us to just feel inspired. It's not allowing us to feel fresh. It just feels so restricted when there's so much things going around us. It again puts you back into survival mode. It just feels so depleting. Get rid of certain things that are reminding you of a person that you don't want to become. Maybe it's old clothes. Maybe it's old gifts that maybe an ex bought you or an old friend bought you that makes you feel sad, that makes you feel, you know, just not your best. Those are things that needs to be decluttered. Get out of your visibility. Just get out of your mind. So tip number 5 is detox your body and work out. Literally. Prioritize your physical health. Your body is your temple. Respect your body. Love your body. We need our body to live our purpose. We need our body to serve the people that we are called here to serve, not just business, but our family, our loved ones. We need our body to do things with energy. We need our bodies. You know, when you are feeling bloated, you know, when you are feeling sluggish. These are signs that your body needs a refresher, right? I know for me, when I don't feel like my best self, a huge reason is because my body feels icky. When my body feels icky, I don't feel good. There's nothing about it. I've always been this way, always been health conscious, but I do, I like to dabble, right? The 80-20 rule. But when I know that I'm not working out like I supposed to work out, I feel icky. I feel icky and it actually makes me feel less confidence. I'm sure everyone probably knows this that physical activity, working out, it increases your mindset, right? It creates positive energy within yourself because you feel more accomplished. You feel more stronger. You are literally telling yourself that you're taking care of yourself. You are telling yourself that you love yourself when you start to work out, when you start to take care of your body. When you are doing these things, it's like you're pressing restart on yourself, right? You're pressing restart on yourself to say, whew, okay, I need to feel good today. I need to pour into my creativity. I need to pour into my confidence. I need to make myself proud. So let me get up, let me work out, let me sweat, let me release toxins in my body. Let me do that. Let me pour into myself. Detoxing your body. Your gut health is so important. Your gut is your second brain, okay? A lot of times when you may not be feeling good is because your gut is sending a signal to your brain. Now, when you are a healthy gut, one, impacts your mood. It increases serotonin in your body. A low amount of serotonin is often showed up into people who are depressed. So, when you don't have a healthy gut, it actually decreases the serotonin in your body, making it more likely to possibly be depressed or have a mood disorder, right? But when you take care of your gut, it impacts your mood because it provides more energy and it sends more healthy signals to your brain. So, things that I like to eat is I like to take probiotics, probiotic vitamins. I think it's called Gut Health, literally, by Teamy Blends. I also use Love Wellness probiotics, such good brands. I also make sure that I eat high fiber foods, so like whole grain breads, beans, things like that, or like chia seeds. What else? So it's just about being more intentional about those things. Detox drinks, cucumber water, lemon water, hot water in the morning, and then eating like an apple or a pear. So good to just clean out your body. I know that may be TMI, but these are things that's going to help put you back in a better mood. So it's really about that gut to mind connection is so important. And then also something that I also want to point out that I started practicing is being more aware of like when my cycle is on. So we all know this as women, like when we are not feeling good and we're feeling less energetic, we're feeling a little bit more moody. Sometimes that's just sign like PMS. Sometimes the period is about to come on and that's okay. And so when that is happening, it's really likely that we need to practice self-compassion. Be a little bit more compassionate with ourselves and more forgiving with ourselves and just allow yourself to just be because it is what it is, right? Our bodies is going to do what our bodies do and it is what it is. We're not men, we're women. So, of course, we're going to feel less confident sometimes. We're going to get bloated. Those things happen. An app that I like to use is I use the Moody app. When I start feeling a shift in my mood, sometimes I just check the app to make sure that it's not me, that I'm not crazy, and that it's just my body just doing what my body does. Another thing that I like to do to refresh my confidence, especially if you're a busy person, I highly encourage you to take mental health days, take self care days. This is so important because what you are doing when you take this day is you are telling yourself that you are important, that you are a priority, that you come first no matter what. Because at the end of the day, you cannot serve no one else. If you work for somebody, if you take care of people, you cannot serve at your highest level if you are drained, if you are feeling like you need a mental health day. It is okay to slow down your mind and remind yourself that it's okay to just be. It is so, so important to do this. I do this, I'm telling you, maybe once a month. And I feel guilt free now. Before not so much, but now I feel guilt free because I know that if I want to refresh my confidence, if I want to bring my confidence back to life and just feel so good in my skin and feel good when I'm around people, i I need my own mental health days. I need to check in with myself and just be. And mental health days don't mean that you need to sit down and just like, I mean, maybe you need to cry or whatever, cry, get it out. But maybe you want to just, turn on some music and dance your heart away, to journal, to, pour into your confidence, go into overdrive with affirmations, go get a massage, go have more fun, go do your hair. These are things that contributes to a mental health day, to a self-care day. Like it is so necessary. As women, we do so much. We literally do so much, and we have to honor ourselves. We are a priority. We are our biggest. We are our best investment. And a mental health day and a self-care day is invested in ourselves. The seventh step to refreshing your confidence and bringing it back to life is gratitude statements. A gratitude statement is, I am so happy and grateful now that this. I am so happy and grateful that blank. I am so happy and grateful that this. Thank you that this is happening. Again, moving to that state of expectation. Thank you that I'm healthy. Thank you for my body. There's so many things that we can be grateful for. And it refreshes our confidence, because why this refreshes our confidence is because when we don't feel grateful for some things, we feel icky. Like our body, our minds, our best selves, we know when we're not living up to our best selves. Like we know it. Our inner being, we know it. We know when we're being a little ungrateful. Like we just know it. So getting back into that those statements, practicing in gratitude, and then saying, like, I'm so happy and grateful now that this is happening. I'm so happy and grateful for this luxurious, soft life that I'm living right now. Thank you. Thank you that is happening for me. Again, that's kind of like getting back into that expectation mode from a gratitude standpoint. And then lastly, the last tip is one of my favorite things is my confidence affirmation daily vow. If you haven't downloaded it, all you have to go is click in the show notes or the description box. It is something that I created at the beginning of the year, which I love. I pours into my confidence daily, even especially when I'm not feeling my best. I look at it and I just start saying it to myself. I don't care if I have to say it one time or I have to say it 5 times to start feeling it again. I do whatever is necessary to do to refresh my confidence, to bring it back to life, because who wants to not feel confident, right? So again, read this vow. You can do it daily or whenever you need that extra boost. It is in the description box and the show notes. So that is it. That is all the tips that I want to give you that's going to help you bring your confidence back to life, refresh it, because it's so necessary, right? We're going to feel a little icky sometimes. We're going to not feel like our best self sometimes. And there are ways to bring it back. So use these tips to help bring your confidence back to life because you deserve it. So before you go, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment because I want people to find it. And then also, if you're listening on your favorite podcasting platform, make sure you also subscribe and leave a rating and review. If possible, I would really appreciate it if you can do that. Again, Impact in the Track is starting this week, Wednesday, September 18th at 7 p.m. If you have any questions, all you have to do is go to cleopatrawilliams.com or you can email hello@cleopatrawilliams.com and someone will get back to you. And that is it for today's episode. And until next time, guys, bye.